Welcome to the Matrix. What if I told you there was a way to eat life? Would you be interested? Inochi no Tabekata, also known as How to Eat Life, is a song composed and performed by Eve, who most of you will know as the singer of Jujutsu Kaisen's opening one. Now, this song, when first listening to it, completely caught me off by guard, and I didn't expect it to be my #1 favorite song of all time this fast. Like, prior to it, my top 3 favorite songs were Akamega Kill's opening 2, also known as Liar Mask by Rika Mayama, Noragami's opening 2, also known as Kyorn Hey Kids by The Oral Cigarettes, and ReZero's opening 2, also known as Paradise's Paradoxum by Myth and Roid. I noticed I have a very huge fascination for second openings. Seems like opening 2s just slap harder than the first ones. Anyways, How to Eat Life flew by on my billboards of like top 3 favorite songs within the first 3 listens, getting higher in the ranks with each sit down. There's just so much to behold when listening to this track, from its beat to what I personally believe is the meaning behind the entire song and how it relates to like drug abuse and addiction and all of that, and I just wanted to tackle that in this video. Now, disclaimer, I am not a professional music student or anything like that. I am just a dude on the internet who likes a song and wants to talk about it. Firstly, I want to start off with Eve's voice. I don't know, there's something about this man. He has such a good voice, a sexy voice.
What did he say?
Pause, no homo. But he has a very attractive voice. Like, when he sings, he really knows how to put in such emotion in a way that last time I heard somebody sing this well was like TK when he did Unravel. There's just something about Eve's voice that portrays this message behind it, and he has this ability to carry every single song that he performs on. Like, he makes sure that the beat is never there to outshine him, but he has the ability to stand on his own on every single song, and he even makes sure that the beat is able to stand on its own. So the instrumental slaps on its own. His voice, you could just like listen to him singing alone and that slaps on its own, and then it just brings a flavorful blend of 2 worlds when he sings on top of these tracks. Like, throughout the song, Eve has constantly shown shifting pitches and even frequency changes, like when he distorts his voice in certain parts of the song and echoes his voice in other parts of the song, similar to when he did the exact same thing where he like spoke through a microphone and sang through a microphone in some parts of the Jujutsu Kaisen opening. Now, this helps give a perspective of like 2 different people speaking in the song, or if not, it's just a really nice touch. Either ways, the switch in distortions gives you that kind of feeling, like, you know, when you're singing a song and then there's 2 people singing in a song like back to back, and then you turn your head like you're singing into like a hair comb or something, or a microphone, and then you turn your head every single time another person sings. Yeah, that's the type of feeling I get whenever he does that whole distortion switch. It's like something 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 something, and you just turn your head to kind of fit that vibe that comes with the whole changing in pitch and tone and distortion. It's just one of the best things I personally have when listening to a song, the fact that you can always have that jumpy type of fun when listening to it. He does this so many times, and then he does a resting period near the chorus where it's kind of like a pre-chorus, because he does this every single time before the chorus happens. In terms of the melody and the tone, it's a very soft spoken part. It's like it's trying to calm down your heart. It's trying to put you in that real like, oh, okay, this is now the mood of the song. He's relaxing it, and then the beat drops and he hits you with the chorus with that. I I just absolutely love it. Like, if you're like me and you saw the music video first before listening to the song on its own, like without a music video, your brain will always associate those two words with the chorus, and you'll always imagine the parkour scene that happens in the music video. I just love it. It's a high-pitched singing, but it's also calming, and yet it has this exciting nature to it. I don't know how to explain it, but it's this one tone that you can sing along. Even if you don't know how to sing, you can just sing along, and even when the song isn't playing, you'll just somehow catch yourself singing that chorus just randomly. I cannot stress how many times I'll be in the kitchen just making a sandwich, and then my body just ejects the chorus, and I'll just be like, in my head I'll be like, YORU ga akeru mai ni o sumashite, and I can't understand why. Or I'll be in the car, YORU ga, I'll be sleeping before I go to sleep, YORU ga, playing video games, YORU ga. It's just in my head. That word, YORU ga, it's just stuck in my head for the rest of my life, and I never understand why. I will never understand why. It is just so catchy. It's like one of those TikTok songs that are just stuck in your head, and then at random times, that specific part of the song will just play, just because it's that catchy. Even if it's just a 2-word phrase, YORU ga, it lives on in my head rent-free. Now, in terms of the lyrics, quite honestly, I cannot review them for you because I'm not Japanese. I bet. Okay, I know like basic Japanese, not enough to translate the entire song. And whenever I try and Google the translation for the song, translating from hiragana to romanji, Google just gives me so many multiple mistranslations, so I can't use them anyways. So quite honestly, I'll just tell you, the song is fun to sing along, and especially the chorus. If you know how to pronounce the chorus, then it's just absolutely catchy to just go YORU ga. I need to actually shut the fuck up about that. But anyways, the meat and potatoes about this video is my interpretation of the meaning from what I've seen. Like, when watching the music video, I kind of got this message, and I think that's the same message as the song, because it doesn't make sense for the music video to not tie in with the song. Now, the music video has given me a lot to take from and how I interpret the song, because the song has cameos from like creatures and characters from other songs that Eve has done in the past. And while I don't know the significance of those characters, a lot of it doesn't really matter, because a lot of them just pop up in certain sections, like the food market. They just there for the sake of being there. But it kind of plants this idea in my head that every single song that Eve does is in one universe. Like, it's in basically like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's how I see it. Now, starting off with this entire music video, it starts off with the protagonist walking around in town as his backpack is eating things around him, which at first, when seeing that, like, face value, I thought that was like his inner demon doing some weird shit, stealing, like eating food without anybody's permission. But then later on in the video, I realized that that's not his inner demon, but more like his guardian angel instead. Now, clearly the main character does not appreciate the company of his guardian angel, because, well, looking at some of the scenes, who wouldn't? Like, imagine somebody constantly opening and closing a door in front of you. I would kick the door too. Now, aside from that, anyways, the character constantly is being followed by the guardian angel, and then we cut to the main character removing a tray from an empty plate, which then is revealed to be a dustbin, which in my head tells me that this kid is kind of bummy. Like, he doesn't have a home, probably left it, he probably ran away from home for reasons relating to addiction. It then cuts to everybody joining hands, and then the main character kind of refusing to join hands. Not really refusing, but not very eager to do it as well. So I think that would represent the loved ones trying to reach out together. Like, they're coming together, trying to reach out and help him with his addiction, but his hesitation is showing that he's a bit too far gone when it comes to this, and he feels like he's beyond help, he's beyond intervention. Like, not even outside help can help him, which shows in the next scene when he's alone, cradled inside the elevator. He really feels that isolation, and it pains him to be that alone. And you can even tell that this isolation is even getting to him even worse, because the guardian angel is kind of flashing in and out of existence. Now, later on, it finally shows that he finds what he's looking for, like this whole copium, this drug. I don't know what it is, but it's candy. That's what it's shown. It's candy. So he finally finds what he's looking for, and just before, as he's marveling this candy and he's about to consume it, a giant monster pops up from behind him. Now, in my head, looking at this monster clearly depicts death. I don't know why. Just looking at it, it depicts death, and that's when it cuts to the chorus of the entire song, the whole YORU ga. YORU ga. Anyways, I'm sorry, I just really love, it's so catchy. Anyways, the main character is shown running towards this giant monster. So for some reason, this main character is running towards death, and then it shows a bunch of scenes. One of them is the main character being impaled by some cutlery, which I think would represent his gluttony, because I mean, gluttony is mainly associated with obsessive eating. We then see the main character trying to continuously chase after this idea of death. Death is just doing its own business, it's just flying around minding itself, and the main character is chasing after it. But just before the main character can actually reach death, he's tripped by his guardian angel, which then causes him to fall, which to me it looks like at that point he's dead. This nigga's dead. He's just falling, stumbling, and it looks like before he can suffer that worst fate, he has the second chance at life. He has the ability to turn back the clock. But now, since he isn't actively chasing that gluttony, he's hunched over, seemingly suffering from massive withdrawals. Then it cuts to different scenes of the guardian angel consuming these drugs for the main character as a way to dispose of them, kind of protect the main character and get rid of all of that negative energy inside his life. Then later switches to a depiction of the biblical Last Supper, which to me feels like it's indicating what is going to happen later on, because I mean, the whole idea of a Last Supper. Eventually the main character he's done, he's had enough, and he just decides this withdrawal is not worth it. That itch is just, basically that's how he was feeling, and he just had enough. He decided, I need to fall back. He relapsed into his addiction, eating away at his addiction like a maniac who is just starved for days. But then as he's eating, it's showing that this addiction is eating away at his own mind and body, and this is clearly shown when the candy is constantly transitioning between candy and human organs. Then finally the main character has learned how to eat life by eating away at himself, but all of this is a bit too overbearing for him. Like, this addiction is finally starting to kick in, and the negative effects are starting to finally show, and his isolation is starting to get worse and worse. Death is there at the elevator trying to force itself into it, and then as the monster finally opens the elevator, the main character opens his eyes to realize that it's himself. It's the purest version of himself before all of this addiction. I personally believe that this whole situation of at death's door, then seeing a past version of himself before all of this bad shit started happening. It's kind of like that whole belief of you see your life flash before your eyes before you die. But I think in this case, it's him flashing back to the moments that he misses the most, or the moments he realized this is not who I am. That's who I was. And this me right now, this is absolutely batshit insane. What the fuck is going on? That's basically what I imagine is going through his head when he first saw that version of him. Then it starts cutting through different transitions, more scenes of his gluttony, but now in a more visualized representation of him and his gluttony, where he's eating away at his actual body, and you can see pieces of his body being eaten like with a fork and knife. So he's clearly showing that he's eating away at his mind, his body, his soul, and it's starting to affect him. But then before he can have his heart eaten, it then leads to the chorus again. Yeah. Actually, let me just shut up and move on. It's just very catchy. Anyways, by the time the main character realizes that he's falling into the worst areas of addiction, death pops up again, because it seems like it's a bit too late, and I don't think death is just going to chill around and be like, oh, you realize your mistakes? Okay, I'll walk away. Now, death is not about that shit. Death sees that the damages have been done. I am here to collect you, and there's no running away, even though the main character tries to run. And at this point, it's really shown that this is death. By the time the monster is just flying through the city, and every single person it flies through just turns into bones. They just die on the spot. So at that point, then you in your head, you really realize that, this actually is death. Now, the main character realizes, oh shit, this actually is death. I need to run. But death again chases, it waits for nobody, so it starts chasing after the main character. This is the main character kind of realizing how much he fucked up. He realized that there's too much damage that's been done. I regret it, but the damage is done, and now death is after me. God help me now. You know, he's just running. He's in fear, absolute regret, pleading for help as he tries to escape, but it seems like it's a bit too late, because death catches up to him, and then it hits him, and then it does that whole tripping sequence where he's falling, and look, at this point he's practically dead. And as he's about to die and he's at death's door, he looks up, he sees his guardian angel giving him that kind of I told you so, didn't I tell you? You know, it's giving that type of I told you so grin, and then later on leads to kind of help the main character fight off death, which then cuts off to the end of the music video, where it shows the main character ate death. It ate death. which is, I find that very amazing. It's such an interesting concept for me. So it basically, this entire music video is a story about a boy who figured out how to eat life and death. So overall, from the music video, what I took from this entire thing was that gluttony is as deadly of a sin as the other 6 deadly sins, and it should be taken as seriously because addiction is nothing to scoff at in the slightest. It isolates you, it destroys you mentally, destroys you physically, essentially just eats away at your own life. So the message of the entire song, from what I can interpret from what I've seen, is that when people need help, reach out. And if you need help, don't be shy to reach out to other people. Even if the idea bothers you so much, like it annoys you, just do it, okay? You need that help. People would rather attend your wedding than your funeral. So don't turn down help because you won't realize how much you need it until it's too late. And that, my good friend, is how to eat life. Falling into addiction. That's how you eat it. Overall, this entire song skyrocketed to my number 1 with ease. Dude, it's actually surprising how fast it went to my number 1. And it's just managed to stay there for so long. I found out about the song on Twitter during the peak of Jujutsu Kaisen, and I couldn't be more grateful that Twitter was actually useful for once. Because without it, I wouldn't have been a fan of Eve, and I wouldn't have been introduced to the song as soon as I did. I'm pretty sure sometime in my life I would have found it, just not this soon. And personally, undoubtedly, it's one of Eve's greatest songs till this day. Anyways, thank you for allowing me to rant as to why this song is my favorite. Initially, I made the thumbnail for this video as a wallpaper. I mean, currently it is my wallpaper. I saw it and I kept on thinking about it. You know what? Since I can do whatever I want on my channel, let me talk about it because the song is absolutely amazing. It slaps till this day. If you have not heard the full song, you need to go check it out, okay? I think it's on Spotify, it's on YouTube. Just search up How to Eat Life. That's the easiest one because if you don't know the Japanese name, just search up How to Eat Life. Anyways, and thank you again for making it this far. If you did, I appreciate it more than you actually think. I know music analysis is my music analysis currently is absolutely ass, but the only way you can learn is through experience. So at the end of the day, as long as I was able to get across my message, which was my interpretation of this entire song, that's a win in my books. Now, if you would like more of this, then sub to the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so that you can be updated next time I post. Till next time, be ever wonderful. This has been Biscord signing out. Bye. この世界の片隅で今を生きる僕らは涙を越えて光の里へゼロ